I'm like chronically congested. I've had really bad congestion for the past couple of months. It's been like stuck in my chest and my throat. It's like make it hard to speak and it's just like not coming out. So that's what happened at the beginning of this. Anyways, hello. I'm about to drive home from church and I thought I would record. I haven't done a driving video in a while, primarily because what? Primarily because my phone picks up the sound of everything around me and like the whole car when I'm driving. Car. And so it can be hard to hear me, but I'm gonna try and speak loud. I have energy today, so I can project. And there we go. Hopefully I can be heard. My drive is 30 minutes, so we got 30 minutes until I get home. We can chat for the time being. Okay. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Ure Chimso. I'm just here to talk about things I experience in life. So I woke up this morning I got out of bed around like 6:30, and I'm trying to do better at getting out of bed when I wake up, because I wake up, my body naturally wakes up early, and my body tends to be in rhythm with just nature. So now that the sun is coming up earlier, I wake up earlier. Typically, like when the sun, like when when sunrise was getting earlier, I was waking up at like 7. Now my body wakes up at like 5:30, 6:30. I also go to sleep a little bit earlier. I would sleep at 11 and my body was up at 5:30, but I wasn't ready to get up. So then I eventually woke up at 6:30, and I'm trying to get better at getting out of bed, because I don't do that when I wake up. I wake up and then I stay in bed for like another hour. I don't sleep with my phone. I just like stay in bed. So one of the things I'm trying to do to help me get out of bed is just tell myself, like, as soon as I wake up, just get up and go on a walk. Because if I go on a walk, by the time I come back home, I'm not going back to sleep. So I decided to do that this morning. So I got up and I just went outside on a walk. I put some headphones on, listened to some music, and I went on a walk. And I usually just, when I'm doing this, I just want to walk around like my neighborhood, not do like a full walk, but it'll probably end up being like 20 to 30 minutes that I'm walking. And so I hope I take the right turn, because I'm still pretty new to this area. Anyways, so on my walk, I see another lady that's walking, and I see she has something in her hand. It looks like it's a prayer rope. So I was like, oh, that's cool. She's like praying and walking. And then I see her turn into the Hindu temple that's across from my neighborhood. And I was like, let me follow her. So in my neighborhood, we have, not in, but like across, like right next to my neighborhood, like the road that I turn in to get to my neighborhood, there's a Jain temple, there's a Hindu temple, and there's a Seventh-day Adventist church. The church has been there my whole life. The Hindu temple has been there since I was about like a teenager, 8 to 10 years. And then the Jain temple has been there for about 5 years. I think they've been building it for a really long time. I think they finished building it and opened it up like last year, 2 years ago. And so I've really wanted to go to the temples, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a really cool opportunity. They're right, like I can walk to them. The Jain temple is like in my neighborhood. It's like a 5-minute walk, and the Hindu temple is like across the street from it, so it would probably be like 10 minutes to get there. So I was like, perfect opportunity. I've been wanting to go. It's open, as I can see. Let me just go. So I went. There probably would have been a better time for me to, actually I don't know, because I went and it was really early in the morning. So by this time I think it was like 7 or almost 7 o'clock by the time I got there. It was really early. There were only a couple, like 2 or 3 cars in the parking lot. This lady, obviously, she walked from her house, so there weren't that many people that were there. And I was like, okay, this would be like a good opportunity for me to just go in, walk around, just see like what So I went and I saw they have like different, it's a Hindu temple obviously, so they have like different statues and shrines and things like that. At first I wasn't sure, because I know it was Hindu from like research that I've done a couple years ago. I'm walking in, they have like these banners, like different events of this specific Hindu denomination in the US over the years and over the decades. And so I saw people wearing the like orange robes that you typically see Buddhist monks wearing, and I was like, oh, are they Buddhists? But then I got it and I was like, no, they're Hindu. Like, they're both Indian, so it would make sense that they're probably gonna be wearing the same things. And okay, what am I feel like I'm just rambling. But I got in and I saw like they had the prayer room. I didn't go in. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. There were a couple people in there that were praying. I think they were doing like a guided prayer. So I think it was either somebody in the front or they were playing a track where somebody was like saying / chanting things in an Indian language. I'm not sure what that language was. And they were doing that and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I was in there, and then a lady, she saw me that was in there, and been talking to me. She's like, oh, like, are you here to pray? I was like, no, I'm just walking around. I just want to see the place. And she was like, oh, okay, well, we're praying right now, so basically, like, respect the space. Like, maybe you can come back another time, or you can come back to pray. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, we're back. Cool. Okay, we're back. I felt like when I stepped into the temple, like I stepped into India. Like that's the primary thing that I felt. Because I have never been to a worship temple that's not a church. I've only ever been to churches. Have I ever been to a synagogue? I don't think so. Never been to a synagogue, never been to a mosque, never been to a temple. So this is like the first time I'm like experiencing something like this. And because it's like, it's Hinduism, like I feel like it wouldn't feel that different if I stepped into like a synagogue. But because it's Hinduism, it's like I'm stepping into a completely different culture. Like, I stepped into India when I walked in there, and just like seeing the different shrines and like idols that they had, and the words that were being, like the language that was being spoken. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not, oh god, it's hot. This is definitely not my culture and not like my background. So that was an interesting experience. Like, I have just entered India in Maryland in the United States, and I think it really made me think about like dominant cultures. And I was also thinking about this on the drive to church this morning, because I always notice it on the route that I take. I'm like, there are so many churches. Like, on this specific route, there is like a church every block. There are so many churches in like all of like different denominations or different cultures and things like that. And I just not wonder, but it got me thinking about like, this is one of the places that if I step into in America, I can experience Indian culture. And I think it's like that even like within Christianity, like different churches that you go to. Like the church I grew up in is an African church. You step into that church, it's going to, like, you're going to be surrounded like with action. I don't have anything to like, at least I don't know. I didn't actually, I don't know if this was a worship service. I think it was just like a time in the day where people were praying. So there's that. But just the experience of like people, like when they go to places, when they immigrate to places, they set up like centers, different centers that allow them to express their culture when the place that they're stepping into, the dominant culture is not where they're coming from. And I think that primarily, in my experience, like being in the US, has manifested itself through worship centers. So that's like a really big thing for a lot of immigrants that are also Christian, is the church tends to become the cultural center. And it seems like it's the same place for this Hindu temple. The temple is not only like a spiritual place, but it's also a cultural center where you come here, you get to go back to your home, you get to interact with people who understand what it's like to come from that culture. Definitely had the same experience with the church that I grew up with. It's like you come here and you're experiencing Africa. And so that was cool. I'm trying to remember, I have notes, but I can't look at them while I'm driving, so I'm trying to remember like other things that I had written down that were cool. And I think, okay, so this was another interesting thing is I went to this place in the morning, early morning, and then I'm getting ready to come to church. And then I entered church and it's like, wow, like it's a completely different experience than what I had experienced a couple hours ago. Denominational church, what is happening in both spaces, and like compared to worship, what they believe is like the ultimate thing. I'm trying to use neutral language and not just keep it like to a theistic sense. When people come here to worship and to participate in and to connect with what they believe is the ultimate thing in life. In this context, it would be God for both of them. And it got me thinking about like what people think like or believe that they should offer to this ultimate thing. In this, I guess, particular setting for the Hindu temple, it's prayer, and it's prayer in this certain like sense and in this certain way. For the church, you have like people singing and being very expressive, and they're singing and they're like, I offer like my words, I offer my emotions, I offer my affection, I offer my body to you. And then also you have like the preaching part of the sermon as well. I offer my ears and my mind to understand what it is that like you have for me. And I think it's a very human thing to worship and to gather with other people and worship something that you agree that is the ultimate thing in like our experience as human beings. It's very human, it's very beautiful, and it really got me wanting to visit more, like have those two experiences within like a couple of hours of each other. It made me want to like really just kind of go out and visit these different places. And it reminded me, so I've been watching a lot of, his name is Jared, I think his last name is Smith, I don't remember. But his church, not his church, his YouTube name is Heliocentric, and he's an atheist that visits churches of like all different like denominations. So he specifically focuses on Christianity. He used to be a Christian, then he deconverted, but is still really interested in like how people worship basically. And so he does this, he visits it every week and then posts a video about it. So I've been watching a lot of his videos, and I felt like today I like experienced that by going to the Hindu temple and then going to church. Because another thing like about me is I don't go to church every Sunday. That's been a thing like since I graduated 2 years ago. I only started going to church on Sunday in the past couple of months. This church specifically. I wasn't going to church on Sunday before I started going to this church, and even now, like it's a rhythm I have to get back into. I'm not used to it, and it's far. It's far. I don't know anybody at the church, so there's very little inclination for me to get up and drive 30 minutes to go every Sunday. But some days I do, like today. And so really for me, like, yes, I understand this environment maybe more than the temple, but it's also like, it's a relearning process for me. It's also a new, like, new experience for me in terms of I haven't done this in a really long time. And also just where I've been in my faith, where I'm like asking a lot of questions and learning about like so many different things. Like I'm able to be an observer in the environment, even though like I'm used to it, I understand it, I get it. But because I've been removed for a while, I'm able to be an observer while I'm in the environment, which is an interesting experience in and of itself. But yeah, just like this idea that human beings spend a lot of their time devoted to worshiping. It's so cool to think about, and it's so cool to see it and to really be like, bro, we're all the same. Like we are all human in that sense. Obviously, then you can get into the intellectual debates about like what makes one belief system different from another and all these like different things. But just the sense that like there are people who are committed to worshiping this thing that they really do believe is the ultimate thing of their existence. And yeah, I feel like there were definitely other things I wanted to say and reflect on, but that's all I can remember for now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end this. This really was just me getting on here talked, there was no structure or like rhyme or rhythm to it. Maybe I'll come back, like maybe when I'm home I can actually make a proper video. I just wanted to get my thoughts out, and I was like, let me try and see if I can do that on the drive. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, thanks for stopping by.